All right, part 2. So here we're looking for possible triangles. There could be one triangle, there could be two. If we create the dotted line down the middle, create the height, we could have two, but it all depends on the side. If we're focusing on angle A here, the opposite side of this angle A should be bigger. Here, if A is less than C, so if this opposite side is less than the other side here, that means there's a possibility of two triangles. Here, if the opposite side, which is A, is greater than C, that means you only have a possibility of one triangle. So let's go ahead and see what I mean here. Example 3a. We're going to find a normal way. We're using the law of sines to find our sides. Here, we have to find the measure of angle B. We're not trying to find all three, just this right here. Before we do that, let's go ahead and look at what we got. Here, let's go ahead and focus on angle A. Angle A is the only one that has measurements. So here, if we look at the opposite side, it's 63. According to this, we're going to focus on the bottom one, the one triangle. For it to be one triangle, the opposite side should be bigger than the adjacent side. So here, the 63 should be bigger than the adjacent side or the included side here. So 63 is greater than 35, so there is only one triangle. If this was less than the included side here, we would have two triangles, but it's greater. So now we have one triangle, and we go ahead and solve accordingly. Here, sine of 57 over the opposite side, which is 63. So far I'm doing good, is equal to, and you focus on the other angle. Students are walking back and forth, so that's why I have to pause it a lot. Going on, we have here, we have to look for the measurement of the sine of B. Here, we have one proportion. We have the angle with the opposite side here. We're not focusing on C because we're trying to find what the measure of angle B is. So then I create a proportion for this. The measure of angle, sine of B, I don't have anything there, so I'm just labeling as B, over the opposite side, that's 35. Here, go ahead and cross multiply. So 35 times the sine of 57 is equal to 63 times the sine of B. Here, we are trying to get B by itself. In this case, before we're working with finding the sides, now we're trying to find the angle. We have to get the B by itself. I'm dividing both sides by 63. Now I have the sine of B. If I multiply 35 times sine divided by 63, I end up with 0.46. Now, at this part, I need to get B by itself. It's connected to sine. This is where that lesson of inverse trig comes in handy. What we use in our calculators, we have the inverse buttons. So we have sine inverse that, and we have that there. So we go ahead and use those buttons. So we're trying to do the inverse sine to both sides to get that B completely by itself. And this is what I mean by inverse, not the reciprocal. So now this cancels out with the sine, and B is officially by itself. And if you put in your calculator the inverse sine times the inner sine of 0.46, you end up with about 27.4. The book has 27.8, I believe. There are different numbers. If you're off by a tenth, by a hundredth, that's fine. If you're off by a couple degrees, that means you might have made a mistake there. But in this case here, 27.4 degrees is what B is. Now, next one here. Here it says find the measure of angle B. So now we're dealing with a different triangle. Here, we have to deal with two types of triangles. Find the measurement of angle B. We have to look for this. Before we do, we need to determine, are there one triangles or two triangles? Are there one answer or two answers? That's the most important part. Here, let's focus on angle A. That's the only one that's given to us. Opposite side is 20. If there's one triangle, this should be the greater number between the two sides. So if I look at the included side, that's 25. According to the one triangle, the opposite side should be bigger than the included side. In this case, it's not. 20 is less than 25. It should be greater, but now it's less than 25. If it's less than 25, that means there are two triangles, and we have to work that out. And I'll show you in the end what I mean by that. Now, let's go ahead and find B accordingly. Now, to find the measure of angle B, I go ahead and do my law of sines. So the first one should be something that I already know. So the sine of, if I focus on A, sine of 14 over 20 is equal to the sine of B over 25. I go ahead and find the sine of B. Cross multiply. 25 times sine of 14 is equal to 20 times the sine of B. To get that by itself, divide both sides by 20. And you multiply all that out, I don't know what I got, but in the end, I got B is equal to 17.6. Meaning, I divided this all out, I got a number, then I did the inverse sign to both sides of that number that I got from this, and then you'll get 17.6 about there, 17.7, 17.8, that's fine. And now from this point here, we have an angle here. We have either 17.6, but if you go back to here, we have two triangles, not just one, two. So to find that, we have to subtract 180 by that measurement. So this is 1 degree. So to find the other one, just subtract by 180. And the other one is 162.4 degrees. So B is a possibility of those two angles. Have any more questions? Make sure you ask me questions on my email down there in the Dropbox description. Remember, every day there's going to be a different type of question there, just to keep you guys thinking. I miss you guys so much. Have a great day.